Don't you just hate it when you forget something? Hey guys, so before you ask, the thing I forgot was my phone, because I left it in my car because I am out shooting in the Highlands. As you can see, I'm up at our place in Scotland in the Highlands, and that's very wet ground. That's made my shoes soggy. But yeah, I've been up here for about a week now and doing family stuff at the house, working on the house, doing a lot of work. But I think I've been here for about a week now, and today is a day off. So what I'm going to be doing is shooting all over the local area. I'm back here after, I think it was like last year I was here shooting, and we got some good images, but I'm back here just for one day. I'm going to run around and kind of shoot pretty much on and off all day. It's kind of overcasty, as you can see, so that might give some potentially good shots with long exposures, which is what I'm doing now, which is why I need my phone, in fact, because I need my long exposure time calculator app thing. So with that being said, let's go down there and I'll show you the shot that I've been kind of framing up for a little while. It took a little bit of work to get it, but I'll show you what it is in a second. Alright, so here I am down here. It took a bit of work, as I said before, to get the tripod down in this position, because I kind of had to, I got my frame ready in the camera, and then I realized the position here was a little bit difficult, so I had to kind of mess around with my tripod. Legs are spread out, it's in the water. It's fine, it's a big ass tripod, it's from Really Right Stuff, it will deal with it, absolutely no problem. I've had it in water before. Just a little bit tricky to get it into the position, but I'll throw the frame that I've got up here on screen. This first shot here is just the polarizing shot. Because we have big overcast clouds, it's giving a big whitewash reflection on the water. Hopefully it'll pick it up here on screen. You can see it, but this polarizer cuts right through it. I was actually really happy with how it's cut through it. And now I've got the little stopper in here just to kind of smooth it out even more. Just with the polarizer, it was quite smooth, but hopefully with this little stopper here, it's gonna spread it out. I think the circular polarizer was 1/4 of a second, but with the polarizer and the little stopper, it's 8 seconds. So hopefully that will give some nice depth and some nice movement. With the clouds, we've got big stormy clouds, as you can see here. So we're looking for some really dramatic skies here today. This is what I'm kind of hoping for throughout the day, is kind of overcasty clouds, so I can just shoot throughout the day and get some really dramatic cloud movements and some water and all this kind of fun stuff. After this shot, I'm going to be driving around basically the Loch Ness area, so we're going to have some fun with that, but let's get to shooting some of these pictures. Now, for those wondering, the settings for this, it's all manual focus. I've got it at f16. I've focused up on these rocks here, and that's going to give me depth all the way through nice and easily. Again, ISO 100 as always, and as I mentioned before, the shutter speed is 8 seconds. 8 seconds with the circular polarizer here and the little stopper, the Lee filter system. So let's go ahead and take these shots. Oh, and I've also got my GPS thing on, because I always seem to forget this, but I've remembered this time to put it on. So let's go ahead and take these shots. Alrighty, I have my frame set up. Let me just put my trigger down there. Alright, I'll throw the original picture here on screen. This is without any filters or anything like that. This is just the base exposure. It's at 1/25 of a second, because as you might be able to see from the video, the sun is pretty much directly in front of me right now. So this scene is a lot brighter than the scene that was over there, because the sun was actually behind us. So it was a bit darker, and it wasn't shining as much on that scene, but with this one it's shining a lot more. So that means instead of using the 6-stop filter, which I would normally use for situations like this because I only want a smooth exposure, because the exposure is so fast, I've had to use the 10-stop, which is no bad thing. It just means that my exposure is now 25, 26, roughly probably about 28 seconds, because this 10-stop is a little darker than the standard 10-stop. And I've got the polarizer on here as well, and it doesn't cut through a lot of the reflections of the water, but what it is doing is it's punching a lot of the color here in the grass and in the mountains. It's punching that color through and really saturating it, which is really nice. And it's also darkening up the sky quite a lot, because a problem you have with a scene like this is, especially if the sun is above you, the sky and the clouds can kind of look blown out. But with what I'm looking here on the back of my screen, I can see really punchy, dramatic skies here. So I'm looking forward to this. Let's try. I'm kind of waiting for, the river kind of goes in cycles where it kind of smooths out like now, so I'm actually going to start it now. Alright, so that's me done shooting. Oh, that's a lot of wind. Alright, so I've just gone a couple of miles down the road from where we were before, and I stopped at a spot I've wanted to go to for a few years now. Finally stopped up, parked up. I've been down there, and I really think you're gonna like what you see. So I'm gonna grab my gear and let's go down there and have a look. Right, so as you saw, I really want to be over there in the middle because of this wide expanse of area. I actually want to do a pano. I want to stitch a couple of shots together. Long exposure shots stitched together. I think it'll look really cool. But I just can't make it. It's too slippery, it's too wet, it's so slimy, it's dangerous. What I might be able to do though is go over to the other side. There's some rocks over there which look like you can walk all the way to them. And it's not in the center, but it's more centered than this. This is really far to one side. That's a little bit more in the middle. But that means I have to drive around and hope that I can get up to that side. I can do this side fine, but it's that side I don't know. So I think what I'll do is I'll pack up, I'll drive around, see if I can go there, and if I can, then we'll shoot there. If not, then we'll come back and we'll shoot here. We're okay right now because the sun's really bright. It's like directly above me right now, so I think it's like 12 o'clock. So I'm not losing bad light or anything like that. I'm kind of just trying to scout out a shot here. So I guess with that, I've got to fill up my pockets again with all my stuff and jump back in the car. Okay, so you saw me doing some setting up and test shooting there, and I'm actually very pleased with the results. I'll throw a couple of the quick shots I did here up on screen. These are just the test shots that I did while I'm trying to figure it all out. Again, I'm having to kind of shoot in two parts. I'm going to have to shoot for the sky and then shoot for the foreground. I'm now starting to wish I had graduated filters with me. I don't own any. I probably should buy some now, I think, because this is actually being a bit of a pain. Because one thing I've discovered is, well, there's two things. First one is I have to do it obviously in two parts. So sky, foreground, and then second shot, sky, foreground. Because remember, I'm doing a pano of this area, which I think will look great. It looks really well. It sweeps down. This section sweeps into here, and it looks really nice. At least that's what I think it will look like when I've combined it all together. But the problem with doing the sky and then the foreground is it's a total of about 35, 33 seconds in total, depending on the sky and sun fluctuations. So within 30 seconds, the clouds do kind of move. And the clouds especially move if you do the clouds first, then the foreground, then the clouds, then the foreground. Because there's about a 28-second delay in between the clouds there. So I might have to do the clouds first and then the foregrounds. I'm not entirely sure. but then you have a problem with the sky and the foreground lining up. One way you can fix it, and this is the second issue, is if you have your tripod completely level. As you can see, my tripod is prepped up on a rock here, on a rock down there, and a little nook over there. But it's not completely flat. And if it's completely flat, then if everything is flat, if the tripod is flat, the ball head is flat, and the plate is flat, you can just rotate it, and it's very simple, very clean. But the problem is, I might have to do sky foreground, sky foreground. I'll just have to be very quick with it, because you won't necessarily always line up. If you do the sky first, then the foreground first, then you're gonna have to align the two separate pieces, and it's gonna be very complicated to line up. So these are some of the challenges that I'm facing because I don't have a graduated filter. I've thought about getting them for a while, and it's probably gonna be next on my shopping list now. So I think I'm gonna try and level out my tripod as much as possible to kind of speed up the process of moving from shot 1 to shot 2, or frame 1 to frame 2 rather. I want to get this all sorted, and then I want to eat because I'm really hungry and it's 1:30 in the afternoon. So I've got food in my bag. Let's get this tripod leveled out. I don't know if I can, because let's see if I can show you. Down there is slimy rocks, and as soon as I start to bring this leg forward down, it falls over. It's complicated. So let's try it. I'll see if I can actually fudge it and get it to work. So here I am in a lay-by alongside Loch Ness. I've been driving for about 45 minutes now, and I'm kind of on like the southeast kind of side of Loch Ness, and I've pulled over into a lay-by just so I can have a look around and have a potentially look at getting some shots. So let's go down into the cave here and walk along the little coastline and see what we can find. Right, so that's a pretty cracking shot actually. I'm pretty happy with that. I'll throw it up here on screen. I've got my camera here just set up. I just did a complete beginning test shot. Usual settings, f/16, ISO 100. Focused on some of the rocks in the foreground, so it's focused all the way through. Very happy with this composition. Because this water is so clear, because it is proper Scottish water. Nice and clear. When I put the polarizer through, it will get really lovely. You'll see through the water, and it'll be nice and smooth. The clouds are magnificent, in my opinion. They look amazing. They're nice and streaky, so they're gonna get lovely long exposures. I'm definitely gonna bust out the big stopper for this one so I can streak that out and get really long exposures. So yeah, the polarizer and big stopper, so let me get all that stuff set up. Very happy with this location. I might even go over to further up over there later on, because it looks like there's something of interest over there, but I kind of want to shoot that bit first, then go over there later. Okay, so I've done a little bit of tweaking since. I've zoomed in a little bit. I'm now at about 26 millimeters rather than the full bore 24. That rhymed, that was good. And so it didn't have that edge vignetting. One thing I am kind of playing with now is the exposure times, because it's kind of fluctuating a little bit. And remember how I was talking about those amazing stormy looking clouds? Well, with stormy clouds comes rain. And it's drizzling all over the front element. I bet if I look, yeah, there's little droplets all over it. I don't think that will be a problem for right now, because they're so close to the lens, they're just out of focus, then you won't actually see them, I think. But I'm trying to still get rid of them in between shots. One thing I am playing with is, as I said before, the sky exposure and then the ground exposure. and I'm kind of trying to get an in-between of the two as well. So I'm kind of extending the exposures to about 80 seconds there, just for that one. Let me have a quick look here. Yeah, so the foreground is nice. The sky is a little bit blown out, but again, I'm getting some really nice detail in the sky and also in previous shots with some epic movement. And as you probably saw in this clip, the sun has really just come out all of a sudden, which is good actually, because it gives me a chance to dry up my... Don't do this at home, kids. I only do this because it's my only option. That's good enough. Oh, and one other thing. I changed my battery because it's dying. And I have two other batteries with me. One was just as dead as the other one. This one that I've got in here right now has got 2 bars. So I haven't charged all my batteries. So that's really good. Oh, and my cable release fell in the drink. But it's fine. It's dried. It was fine. But one thing I'm going to do is do some more shots now. And... yeah, that'll be it. Then we'll do some more shots, and then I think I'll jump somewhere else, and then I'll be done with this location. Pretty happy though. Came out here just expecting not to find anything, and I found something very nice, so I'm quite happy. One tip while I'm here waiting for this to expose is something that I've just noticed in my shots, and I've done this before, but I don't think I've ever actually talked about it. When you're shooting in a situation like this with rocks and water, the one thing you really don't want in your shots, because it's very obvious and eye-catching, especially when you're doing longer exposures and the sun comes in and out, is when you have rocks like this and part of it is wet and part of it is dry. Like this bit here will become very, very bright in the exposures. So, and it doesn't look very nice because it should all be one consistent color because it's one rock, but only because it's got, you know, partly wet and partly dry. That's why you get these two different tones in the rock. It doesn't look particularly pleasing. So what you do is you get your hands in the drink, or in the water rather, and you just splash the rocks. That's what I've had to do for those rocks over there, because I'll show it up on screen. The shot before, the rocks are kind of bright and dark because they've got some light spots and some dark spots because they were dry. So all I did was, about 2 minutes ago, just splash the rocks with a whole bunch of water. I just dug my hands into the water, splashed the rocks, just to make them nice and wet. And that way they soak up color and don't reflect the bright sunlight as much. So now if I have this shot here, the rocks look much more vibrant and darker, and like they have much more depth to them, and they don't blow out as easily or as quickly. So there you go, there's a quick little tip there for shooting rocks in long exposures. Alright, that's us done with that location. Now let's see if I can make my way over to the grassy tree rock formation thing that was in the foreground of the shot I was just doing. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so I couldn't get to that little island bit that we were looking at before. There was just no access to it. The only bit I could see was like private household driveways stuff, so didn't do it, sadly. But while we were driving along, I came across this area, which is like a big boatyard kind of thing. And while driving in, I saw a little sign. I can't remember it now. I think it's Canary Island or something like that. There's a tiny little island right there in the middle. And I walked over to it, and it looks like there might be a shot there. So let's go over there and try and do one. Okay, so I am totally set up, ready to go. As you probably saw, the tripod is leaning a little bit far forward, but there's not much I can do about that. It's just kind of the land itself is quite steep. And I want it really about this height, because I'll throw the picture up here on screen. The lower third is the water, then the middle third is the mountains, and top third is the sky. I've got for settings, let's go here, ISO 100 as usual. I'm gone to F11 this time because I would normally go F8, but I kind of want the tree and the mountains to be relatively in focus. I don't need to go all the way to F16, it's kind of going a bit too far at that point. But what I am loving is the fact that the big stopper and the polarizer are really, really making the sky pop. I'll throw the picture up here on screen again if I haven't already. And I'm really loving the way that it's just nice blue sky and then the streaky white puffy clouds and then this thing right in the middle, because the sun is actually hitting this Cherry Island perfectly right now. So I'm very happy with the results. All I'm really going to be doing now is shooting a couple more frames. I might shoot a few more, and then that's it. Then I'm done with this shot. It's really been that simple for this one. I might go down to the docks and see if there's a shot there, but more likely than not, I'm just going to keep going. Yeah, again, it's just really smooth water and then really fluffy clouds. The only thing I am going to have to do is, there's two buoys out there, the white one and the pink one. Just Photoshop them out. That'll be the only thing I need to do. But apart from that, I'm golden. Nice and simple. I love it when it's simple like this. So again, I'll shoot a couple more frames and then off to the next location. I have no idea where. Alright, so I'm set up, ready to go. Oh, actually, I just realized I haven't shown you this. Look at that! It is massive. That is a very big, amazing waterfall. I'm very glad I took that detour. I'm actually kind of lucky right now because we're getting some really lovely blue sky with some clouds. The sun is behind me, so it's shining up on all the trees and stuff, giving it nice light. It's kind of dappled light though, so I might wait for it to kind of go behind clouds, not entirely sure. First things first, got to put all my equipment on. But let me just take a shot here so I can throw it up on screen for you guys. There you go, so you can see that. I've tried to include some of the sky because unfortunately there's not a lot of movement in the water once it hits. It just kind of hits. So I've got that in the frame, but that's really about it for movement down there. And there's a lot of junk down there. And oh, you also might have noticed it's a vertical shot. So again, it's rare I do vertical shots. But usually when I do vertical shots, they're pretty cool. So I'm happy with this one. But let's again put all the equipment on and then we'll get back to some more of me talking. Right, okay. I've made an executive decision. I'm going to stay here, but it's going to take a while. The sun still high and mighty in the sky. It's about 6:45 right now, and sun doesn't really set until about 9-ish. A little bit later, higher up, but right now it sets about 9. So there's a cafe here at the top. I'm going to sit up there, have a coffee, maybe have some food, and wait, because I want to shoot this thing. I want to shoot it. But right now, it's just too dappled light. I mean, you can see it. Sun is really bright. It's brighter than ever, which is different from what I was doing this morning. It was very gray and overcast this morning. So you can see how much the weather has changed. So with that being said, I'm going to hold out for the weather. Hopefully we're good. I'm going to go get a coffee and something to eat because, as I said, it's now 6:45. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I need a drink. So with all that being said, let's hope that the weather is, or at least improves for sunset. Back down we go. I think I might have done it. I am so happy right now. I came down a little bit earlier than what I was expecting to because as I was sitting up at the cafe eating some food, I noticed that a big waft of cloud came in and it made this really soft and you didn't actually really see any dappled light. So I decided to come down a little bit early and take my chances to see if that would happen again. And it has, and I'm amazed it's worked. The sun is behind some clouds. You can see there is no big crazy light happening on the waterfall right now. I was there before and I've kind of moved a bit more further center here. And I'm just firing away because one thing, the batteries here are dying. They're just flashing. They're gonna die soon. I've run out. I didn't charge them enough, but I'm managing to get these shots I pretty much got the shot now. I'm just kind of playing with it. I should have put it up on screen now, or if I haven't, I should have already done it. I'm very happy actually. I've been, just by looking at it, I'm pretty happy with the framing. There is one thing, there's some piles of wood down there that I want to get rid of. It's like broken up trees or something that I want to get rid of. But apart from that, I'm gold. I've done the shot. I can go home now. Excellent. I'm going to fire away for a little bit longer and see if I can maybe, because I'll tell you what, let me just end this shot here at about 9 seconds. Yep, and I'll explain the settings and stuff because I kind of tweaked them a little bit. It's the polarizer and the little stopper. Let me just move you guys over here for a sec. Yeah, so it's the polarizer and the little stopper. It's an f9 ISO 100, and it was a exposure of 40th of a second or 60th of a second or something, which basically meant with the little stop and the circular, it became about 6 to 8 seconds, depending on light variations and things like that. So I've been shooting for about 9 seconds, and that's got it good. I'm almost tempted to see if I can throw the big stopper in there. Unfortunately, that's like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes exposure time. I might risk it for a couple of shots because I kind of want more streaky clouds. I don't think that is actually much in the frame. It's very little in the frame, actually. I may try and recompose it so you don't even see it because it's just a big waft of grey cloud right now. It's not like before where it's nice streaks of blue, fluffy clouds kind of thing. It's just a big waft of cloud. Same kind of thing for up here with the sun. The sun's over there, but a big waft of cloud has just come in and it's covered it, and that's what's made this nice soft light with no dappling light kind of spots. So let me play around with this for a little bit. I might recompose, I might throw the big stopper on there, but I pretty much got the shot. After that, I'm going home because it's going to be an 1.5 hour drive home, and it is currently 7:45. So it's going to be a late one for me today. I have been out since very early this morning, but it's been a very productive day. I'm very happy. But let me try and recompose, or maybe throw the big stopper on there. Okay, so that is me packed up. I recomposed it and just used the little stopper. I didn't bother with the big stopper because it didn't make much of a difference. It was just, once you have smooth water, you have smooth water. It doesn't get more smooth. But actually, I don't know which one I prefer. The more zoomed in tight one, where you get a lot more of the waterfall in there, or the zoomed out one where you get more kind of context. You see a bit of the sky, you see some of the trees at the top. I'm not really sure. So actually, I want to hear from you guys in the comments. I want to do an A and B. I'll throw them up here on screen. A will be the wider one, the wider shot, and B will be the tighter shot. And I want to hear in the comments below which one do you prefer, A waterfall or B waterfall. I'd actually be quite interested to hear that. Just case in point, I'm not going to, whichever one you guys, the majority, prefer, might not necessarily pick that as my final shot. I'm just interested to hear what you guys think about that, because I'm actually kind of undecided right now. As I was looking at them, I didn't know which one I kind of preferred. I'm kind of leaning towards A, the wider shot, where you kind of see a bit more context, but again, you don't know. But I am going to sign off here and head home because it's going to be a long drive home. It's going to be late by the time I get there. But I've had a very, very, very fun day. I've really enjoyed it a lot. Hopefully you have too. This has kind of been a long one. I know that. I'm sorry, but I did a lot of shooting today, so you get that with it. So with that, I am going to sign off here. Hope you've had a great day. Hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I'll catch you in the next one.